Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would ask that we make one addition to the agenda this evening. I'd like to create a new number 21, which is to appoint Nicole Sayers to the Board of Assessment Review, and move public comment to 22 and adjournment to number 23. Sayers was S-A-Y-E-R-S.
So moved.
John moved it.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to public comment. If you would like to comment, please provide us your name, address, and if you could limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, we'd appreciate it. Is there anyone online, Danny, that would like to comment? No. Okay, thank you. Move on to communications. Jim?
We are continuing to transmit tax revenue to the County of Monroe. I think last I checked, we're about up to 84% of the county's warrant portion. We've already done obviously 100% to the town. That is our main focus right now, and I've got you like one set of minutes. I'm catching up, so I think I'm just a month behind now. So that's those are my two foci right now.
Thank you. Sheldon?
Nothing.
Karen?
Still looking into the recycling programs. It appears as though the town of Huntington Falls is interested in doing the electronics recycling with us.
Okay.
I'll have more to report next month.
Great.
Great.
Cindy?
Yeah, I have quite a few things. First of all, for the library, Lori has been volunteering a few hours a week back at the library, and she's going to make a decision by June as to whether she will be retiring or not. And she is currently in a program for speech and cognitive development. Also with the library, most of the library employees have now had at least one vaccine. That was as of last week. The board did compliment Jerry Fox for all the work that he's done at the library grounds. They're now allowing groups to meet at the library, keeping them 3 feet apart and wearing masks. They love the charging stations, and they were wondering if we'd heard anything with regard to how anybody in the community might be liking the charging stations. And
The only thing if I can interrupt you just for a second, I know we get a report, and I think currently it's going to John Haygreen. John, are you getting the report on usage?
Yes, I am. Yes. I can distribute that report if you'd like.
okay, but we haven't heard anything like people commenting or anything like that. I don't believe. I told them I didn't know and I would find out.
No, I would say I haven't had a lot of comments, but they've all been positive.
All right. Okay, and then I did contact Mike Garland from the county disposable waste, and currently they don't have anything available for remote here in Mendon. They're all booked. Other towns, and he suggested directing people to our website and making sure that link is prominent on our website. I also talked with another gentleman about some hazardous waste, and the best thing to do with that would be to make people aware of the fact that they can dispose of the hazardous waste at the eco park, and they have to make an appointment for that. And then on March 23rd, we had our first Citizens Advisory Committee meeting for the memorial for the National Guardsmen who were killed in the helicopter crash. And our next meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, where we have to have every member, there were 11 people there, and all of us are to bring our ideas forward at that meeting so that we can discuss them. And then we will have a meeting every 2 weeks until we come to a decision by, at the latest, September 13th, I believe it is. And last week, no, 2 weeks ago, John and I walked the Hamlet to check on the bridges because we want to put some planters on the bridges on 251 and 64. And Andy has very kindly offered to have his guys build some planters for us, and we've ordered some self-watering reservoirs for them, or we will be. It's one of our resolutions tonight. And so I think Andy has a good idea of what needs to be done over there, and that will get taken care of. We also noticed that the bridge on 251, on both sides of 251, the sidewalk has buckled, probably from the repair that the state did to the bridge. And Andy said that that will be fixed, looking into the most cost-effective way to fix that. That's something that is our responsibility. And the pothole that's in front of the cottage has been cold patched. There will be a better fix to it, I'm assuming, Andy's assuming. The water company did some work there, and that's where that asphalt is. So Andy will stay on top of that anyway. And then also during the week prior to last week, John, Andy, and I met with the representative from Vortex regarding the spray park. We met over at the highway department grounds. And those were in our initial discussions with them regarding that, and John Hagerty may have some more to add. And that's it.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, just to make a note of, there was a planning board last week. Went very smoothly, Brett. Not actually Brett, yeah, it had a commitment, but so Tom Voorhees did. But the main subject, and that's why we're kind of trying to checkerboard planning board and zoning board meetings, is Hillary would like to do a series of 3 concerts this summer in back of Men in 64. So between the zoning process and you know, some of the other concerns with noise and all that kind of stuff, that we need to iron that out before her first date, which I believe is June 13th, 12th or 13th, I forget. But anyways, but that was very interesting, and you know, I think it's a great idea. I think people are kind of starved for that kind of thing, and it'd be great to see. So only other thing I have is John and I have been talking about, we did a profile on, not a profile, but a question and answer with Body a while ago. And so I have in the works, I've sent out questions to three town employees, the first of which is going to be Denise. So I'm waiting on answers, and I'll put together an article, and we'll get that posted on the town page, and hopefully make it I'll make a concerted effort to make sure it's a more regular thing. So.
On what town page, I'm sorry?
Oh, the Facebook page.
Oh, the Facebook page, okay.
Yeah, Facebook page, and again, I like everything out, like everything on that page. Everything is shareable on that page, right? When you post stuff.
I think so. I don't know for sure, to be honest with you. It's not my.
Yeah.
Facebook thing's not my forte, but I would say that, I believe it's. Sure.
Yeah, because I think that's a good idea, because, you know, it's kind of thing that I think it's good for people to share if they're interested in, and even, you know, the stuff you've been doing about the pickleball and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
You know, we've gotten a lot of attention.
yeah.
There's a lot of information on there.
Yep. Okay, that's it.
John Hagerty, anything?
Just follow up on Cindy's comments about the splash pad. The concept sort of been bubbling for a while. The consideration to put it at Semmel Road Park. Very early on, we met with Joe Denzak, who is kind of the distributor for the product, and then, as Cindy mentioned, Cindy and John met with the engineer. So very early on talks of it, but certainly something that would be a great contribution to the town of Mendon and specifically to families. So that's what we're working on. John's going to visit the site out in Brockport tomorrow to take a look at it. I'm not able to attend that, but I'll follow up. Thanks.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Dovetailing to John, John thought he was gonna be available, but he had a conflict, so I have an appointment at 1 o'clock tomorrow. If anybody wants to go out with me, I'm gonna meet the town supervisor out there, Kevin Johnson, somebody from his public works department who was gonna kind of show me what they have, how it works. I mean, it's not set up to operate until Memorial Day, but he invited me out when I asked him some questions, so I wanted to meet him out there.
Where is it roughly in Rockport? Is it like a town park or?
I believe so. I was
Okay.
on their website today trying to make sure I go
Going to the right place, yeah. No, 'cause I can't make it tomorrow, but I might stop out there.
Yeah.
If I'm in the area.
The other thing I'd mention is we had some calls about a conservation easement off of Old Sawmill Road that Corey Gates addressed. And the resident that in question, he sent a letter to all the residents who border that, I shouldn't say the border, the conservation easement is on their property, regarding what steps are necessary if they would like to do any work in that conservation easement and what is and isn't allowed. One of the residents, went through a forestry plan with a licensed forester and hired a company to come out. They were out, I think it was last week, or the week before, and cut out some ash trees and other things within the boundaries of the plan that the forestry person put together. Let's see, we believe during the snow removal off the new roof at one of the highway buildings, two of the roof stacks were bent over. Those have been both replaced. Corey and Jerry Fox from the highway department fixed those and replaced them. We also received the check from the EV station at the library regarding the grant. We received that check. We also received a check for $2,912.50 from Entree. They were our former provider of IT services. And we canceled our contract and responded that we did not receive all the services that we were paying for, and so they returned that $2,900 to us. Monroe County has reconvened the Council of Government. I've been attending those meetings virtually, which is the Council of Government is all towns, villages, and school districts, including the county executive. And that the subject matter is shared services, because the shared service agreements that have to be renewed every couple of years and presented to the state. So when we did it a couple of years ago, we were probably one of the towns that had the most shared services. And the way it was supposed to be is that the state was supposed to recognize the amount of money that we shared due to shared services, and then that money was supposed to come to the county, and then the county was supposed to break that up going to the towns as far as what your level of shared services were and the dollar amounts to it. We're still waiting for that check. Let's see, I met with Congressman Chris Jacobs in Wheatland with various elected officials, talked about some of the issues nationally. And the American Rescue Plan Act, we're still getting things through an eyedropper on that. As far as I know, we should be receiving $350,000 in 2021 and $350,000, these are approximate numbers, in 2022. And then there's certain criteria for what we can use it for, and the details supposed to come down to the United States Treasury on what that money can be used for. County responded to our letter about Sibley Road regarding speeding and weight limits, and they will be doing a traffic study. Thank you, Sheldon. Traffic study this summer. We have a drainage problem off Route 251, which Andy, our highway superintendent, is about a piece of drainage tile, Andy, that collapsed. Is that the best way to put it? So he went out and got estimates from companies to do the work. It turns out that we can do it in-house cheaper. I think you're gonna start on that tomorrow, right?
Whereabouts is that on 251?
It's Pebble Road,
Okay,
that private drive.
Yep.
We have an easement through the bank here.
yeah, okay.
So it's, you know, a considerable amount of money and probably gonna take you, what'd you say, about a week?
I'm hoping.
So, but it is something that we, you know, we need to do for those folks that are there. Also, the HVAC request for proposals went out, and we did receive 3 of them. And we're still going through those, make sure that we're accurately, because they're all written a little bit differently and their responses, so we're making sure of those. So we'll probably have something for you in our May meeting that we'll contract with a company to do all of our HVAC work in all of our buildings for 2021. That'll be a spring and a fall service for all of our equipment. And that concludes my communications. We'll move on to Supervisor's Monthly Report.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge receipt of supervisor's monthly report for March 2021.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Move on to Town Clerk's Monthly Report.
A lot of dogs.
To acknowledge the receipt of the town clerk monthly report of March 2021, showing receipts and disbursements of $8,577.20.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We have minutes here, Jim? Do we?
Yeah, you should have a copy of February 8th.
For February, right?
Yes, for February.
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular town board meeting held February 8th, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we have budget transfers and adjustments.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget adjustments as noted in number 9 of our agenda.
I'll second that.
Any comments? So the first one, which is because we had originally budgeted for someone else to paint and put down carpet at town hall. We ended up doing that internally with highway folks. It was kind of a quiet winter to a certain degree, and also because they were on shifts because of COVID, it provided some, basically something to keep them busy when it wasn't snowing or sleeting or any of the above. And the second one is for flood insurance for town hall. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next are vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve all claims on vouchers number 21-187 to 21-274 on general abstract 21-04 in the amount of $228,029.28.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Just that a big part of that was the ambulance contract.
Yes. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is library abstract.
Library vouchers number 21-033 to 21-048 on library abstract 21-04 in the amount of $3,844.97 were presented
Thank
for
you.
payment.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to open up the public hearing at 7:20 p.m. This is a public hearing to consider renewing the franchise agreement with the town of Mendon and Spectrum Northeast LLC. It's an indirect subsidiary of Charter Communications Incorporated. I would ask if anyone would like to comment that they please limit their comments to 3 minutes or less. I have been instructed that this agreement is for cable TV only. It does not include internet. Danny, is there anybody who'd like to comment?
I don't see anyone online.
Okay. Anyone here that would like to comment? I received one phone call from a gentleman today, John Sachatella from Taylor Road. He said that he feels like he's not getting all the channels that he's supposed to get. And he feels that they're unresponsive and that they have a lot of outages. I don't have Spectrum, so I couldn't really comment personally on any of those things, but maybe some folks here have it.
I have Spectrum. I haven't had any major issues with Spectrum. I mean, sometimes if the power goes out, obviously the cable goes out. And if we have really, when we've had electrical, lightning storms, we haven't really had an issue. We used to have a lot of issues. But most recently, I would say in the last 5 years, we haven't had any issues with an electric storm. It's when the power goes out, obviously we lose the cable, but other than that, I can't complain.
Yeah. The little chatter I hear is usually about cable, so that falls outside the realm of this, so. I'm sorry, their internet.
Internet.
Yeah.
Right, that's what,
With the cable
Internet.
outages and stuff like that, but like I said, that falls out the purview of this contract.
right.
I was in contact with a representative from Spectrum who she said she was going to try to be here either online or in person. And obviously that person did not attend. But I've talked to a few other town supervisors and it sounds like they get a lot more complaints than we do. And they've expressed their complaints to Spectrum and Charter Communications. And sounds like they're not, they don't feel like their complaints have been addressed. But locally, I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I had a call about, other than this one today, about cable TV from Spectrum.
Hey, John, what are our options?
Yeah.
Well, not to sign the contract, currently we get 5% of the franchise fees. Because I know Sheldon, you read the contract
Yeah,
as well.
you have to understand, it's a non-exclusive contract, franchise agreement. And if you didn't renew it, then everybody who has Spectrum cable, it's gonna die. So I think you have it.
More complaints.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't keep someone else.
But there's not really another provider to even supply competition.
Well, there could be, but it's not up to us. Our only question is, do we renew a non-exclusive franchise? I don't see any.
Right.
Yeah,
I got it.
most of the people I know, if they don't have cable, they stream, and then you're relying on your internet
Internet, right?
to stream, or you have an antenna,
DirecTV.
Or direct
Or it's
TV.
Dish.
dish or
Yeah,
direct.
either of those.
Direct TV's a dish too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So. I know we just have an antenna and then we stream. But that's just me personally. Any other comments? Anyone? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to the cable television agreement.
Motion to adopt the following franchise agreement as outlined in agenda item number 11.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to number 12, which is town hall security. I would just bring your attention to the fact that I believe when yours was printed, the amount is $2,153.80. I did receive a late notice of another quote that I had asked them for kind of last minute that would increase the total of $4,649.24. And I can give you a brief description of why that changed last minute. Is that we had a sprinkler test done, and the sprinkler test we failed. So we need to have these folks come in and find out what the problem is. Not to say that it wouldn't have worked, but the alarm, the strobe, the horn did not go off. So the sprinkler system itself worked, but all the alarms that would have alerted everyone inside and outside the building that there was a potential fire during the test did not work.
And that is not something that they do because it could be on their end that there's an issue?
You mean the sprinkler people?
Yeah.
No, it's not on there because the alarm is that Johnson Controls provides us
Some security.
Yeah, it's part of the security alarm that's hooked up to the sprinkler system. So there's actually, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but there's 3 different contracts in front of you, and that's the total amount. So if there's a motion, it would be, I would suggest we make it for the larger of the 3 amounts to take care of that issue.
What was that amount again?
What was what again?
The
That
amount.
amount?
$4,649.24.
So moved.
I'll second.
So as I explained to you about the sprinkler system, that's one quote. The other quote is for putting in 8 more, they call them holdup alarms. We tend to call them panic alarms internally, but we have some panic alarms in town hall that I think we need more. Let me put it that way. They're not necessarily in the greatest places. They're outdated. The new ones are wireless, and I think it would be to our advantage to install some more. So have the ones there tested, and then have some more installed, and then have them regularly tested, as well as the alarm for the sprinkler system. And that's part of the 3rd quote, which provides maintenance and service. And for annual services for all of our equipment, which we currently do not have a service agreement with them. And all these are under New York State contract.
So let me just get this straight. There's another one in addition to the 4,649.24. Well,
No, all these add up
it's
to that.
all, okay, all
All
right,
of them add up to that,
okay.
yes.
Is that town hall and highway garage, or is it just town hall?
This is just the town
Just
hall.
town hall, okay.
So, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to Highway Department. This is Septic Clean Out.
I'll make a motion to hire Vern Valent Septic Servicing Inc. to pump and clean 4 tanks as noted in number 13 of our agenda at the Highway Department.
I'll second that.
So this was last done in 2019, and they have routinely done this work for the various septic systems at the Highway Department. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the Hamlet flowers for the bridges on Route 264 and 251.
From septic to flowers, nice one.
I like the flowers.
What's that?
I said from septic to
Septic to
flowers.
flowers.
Nicely done, clerk.
I'll make that motion to authorize the supervisor to prepare and submit any and all necessary permits, including secret, if appropriate, for picking flowers, placing flowers and on the bridges in the on New York State, Route 64 and 251.
And I'll say,
So, thanks to Andy, we found out that we did have to, there was a permit process, and this would allow myself, with the assistance of some other individuals, to do the shorted environmental assessment form and put in for the permit and proceed. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we have Hamlet Banners. This is authorization to purchase.
I make a motion to purchase 8 pole banners, including graphic design for vital signs according to the estimate 21-0496, submitted April 5th. Amended by hand for amount not to exceed $1,395 from account B7550.460.
I'll second.
So our banners that we have had up in the Hamlet are pretty worn, faded, worn, tattered. So this would give us 8, as you come into the Hamlet, you'd have one on each side of the street on basically the 4 corners, not at the 4 corners, but on entering the Hamlet kind of area there.
What are the banners for? What are they?
They say like welcome to Mendon,
Oh, okay, because there are the servicemen.
Yeah.
the military ones. Those are separate.
Okay,
These are banners that we put up that,
okay,
if you see them in a lot of communities, they'll say welcome to Mendon
sure.
or something like that.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the self-watering planters. This is authorization to purchase.
So moved.
Second.
So you have 2 quotes. One is for the hanging baskets and one is for the planters on the both are self-watering. So last year and in other years, we've had to go down, have somebody go down and weekends, things, especially during the real hot weather, water. You probably probably seen people water their baskets and then half the water runs right out of the basket sometimes. So this, with these self-contained reservoirs, it holds the water in this reservoir, and then there's like a, I don't know, maybe like a sponge type material that it leaches up to the plant. So that supposedly you're only supposed to have to water them every 4 or 5 days. You're watering into the reservoir, so you don't have that spillage and you're not wasting water, and you also we feel it'll cut down on labor and overtime in the summertime, things like that. So it's, I think it's a good long-term investment. And we did find out that Livonia and a few other communities are using these and say they work great. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next are flags. This is authorization to purchase.
Make a motion to purchase 52 3x5 nylon US flags from Furs Flag.
Fred's.
Fred's Furs. And the amount not to exceed 1,183 from account B 755.450.
Second.
Once again, the flags were getting pretty tattered towards the end of last year. It takes about 52 to do the entire hamlet. So we wanted to just replace them all. I mean, we've got some of the ones from last year that probably can be used as spares, but this year maybe a good chance just to replace them all, start over.
That's a very good idea. They were looking pretty old, worn.
Yeah, it really was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Move on to number 18, which is Historic Preservation Commission. It's a meeting location change.
Make a motion to establish a new location, day and time for the meetings of the Historic Preservation Commission. It's 7 p.m. the first Wednesday of each month at the Mendon Town Hall.
Second.
So they were not much because of COVID, and they're talking about meeting in the future. Planning a meeting had announced in January at our organization meeting, all meetings will take place here. For the first Wednesday of the month, we meet here. So that sort of reservation, there's no place for them to meet, so they need to meet back at the town hall. Well, I think COVID has as much, but yeah, yes. So I think normally they would be more often, but I think COVID is kind of scared them off, and they haven't had anything referred to them from the planning board. So
They won't need it. There's nothing to do about it.
No, I'm just wondering.
we should have certainly something to look into. Like I say, I think COVID is, I mean, Tom, you've been the liaison to that.
Yeah, we did a pretty wide swing from being very active to not that active.
And when I first started, I started on it.
Yeah.
And-
Sure.
But you know what? They met every month.
Yeah, and the chair, is Jeff still chair of the?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that changed quite a bit from what Jeff.
The only thing I can say about Jeff is that he contacted me a few weeks ago and asked me about putting some information about the Historic Preservation Commission on our website. I said, absolutely. I told him to let me know and I would meet with me and Danny to get this done, and I haven't heard from him since. I'd say it was probably a couple. 2 years ago.
Okay.
So No,
That's
Robert.
typical. And then every month when I was on it,
Yeah, at the time,
I mean, it was Blake.
we kind of talked about, possibly doing like with Facebook page being more active with old pictures and stuff like that. I mean, that's certainly a role they could play. So,
And Diane is such a.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, use of rectangular fields on Summer Road. Or please.
So moved.
This is according to their schedule, which they used it several years since they were built. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is use of the softball field by the Huntington Falls Methodist, Russian Methodist Church softball. Pending the receipt of their insurance certificate, which we currently do not have.
so
Go ahead, Karen.
Any other discussion? So once we will notify Blaze and we will remind softball league to get a certificate of insurance.
Can we vote on that last one?
We didn't vote? I'm sorry. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the new number 21, which is to appoint Nicole Sayers to the Board of Assessment.
So moved.
I'll second. Nicole came to me recently and was interested in getting involved with a board or commission on the town. I explained to her what openings we had. She was very interested, sent me the job description. I talked to the assessor. He thought she would be qualified to fill the position on the board of assessment review. And next, we'll go back to public comment. Sir, motion for adjournment. John, still on?
I'm still on, yep.
See you, John.
Take care.
Thanks, John.